I hereby confer certificates, diplomas, and degrees of the Zimbabwe Open University to the candidates for these awards as approved by the University Council.
The man who once celebrated his own ruthlessness by saying he had degrees in violence presided over a graduation today. A historic occasion, and not just for the students. Maybe it's the last time Robert Mugabe will appear in public as president. Later in the ceremony, his 93 years began to show. But never dismiss a great survivor. He's still walking, and reported to be resisting the general's insistence that he step aside. Zimbabwe's newspapers think it's all over, but that's been said before. A few armoured vehicles can be seen in town, but the power struggle is being waged not on the streets, but in secret. Mugabe tightened control in the late 90s by seizing mainly white-owned commercial farms to return the land to black Africans. Today, we saw some white farms still functioning, growing irrigated maize to feed the growing urban population, and tobacco to bring in foreign exchange. Small farmers we met feared to talk politics, but they know what Zimbabwe lacks.
I'm neutral here.
You're neutral. What about you?
Same about me. Yeah.
Are you afraid of the politics?
Yeah, we are non-politicians.
We are non-politicians.
Yeah.
What does the country need? What is the most important thing for the future of the country, in your view?
Yeah, the country needs financial support. It needs also employment.
The land was given to veterans of the Liberation War against White Rhodesia, but many struggle as subsistence farmers. Here in the rural areas, Zimbabweans have by and large continued to support President Mugabe. This area used to be all big white commercial farms. Now they're small farmers. These are war veterans who've been given this land and are trying to cultivate it. They supported Mugabe more than anyone, but their leaders have now turned against him. He's 93, they hate his wife, they say that's enough. This afternoon, the head of the war veterans called for demonstrations tomorrow against Mugabe and his wife Grace.
And the madness, sheer madness of his wife who are trying to become a president of the republic and create a dynasty. The Zimbabwean people are up to here. There's no going back about Mugabe, period. And that's what we are saying. That's why we are bringing all the population of Zimbabwe. We will not, we have indicated and we want their support tomorrow. We have declared as war veteran, that is the message, there's no going back, he must leave.
In yesterday's pictures with South African envoys and the military chiefs who want him out, Mugabe still looks in command. But today, several provincial leaders of his ZANU-PF party, like the war vets, turned against him. It's the rainy season in Zimbabwe. That means new shoots, new beginnings. And before that, storm clouds and thunder. Politics in Zimbabwe is often a violent game, but at the moment it's more like chess. President Mugabe's first move, we're told, is that when the army tried to depose him, he brought in his lawyers who said this is against the constitution. It's not the military who have sway here, it's the party, it's the government. But what is critical is that Mugabe's ZANU-PF party seem to be moving against him. And the reason for that is they know that he's going to die and they want to make a preemptive move before his wife, Gucci Grace, Disgrace as they call her, steps in. And also, the man who the military want to put in as an interim leader, or maybe as a leader for longer, the ousted Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa. Now, he's not back in the country yet, I'm told, but he's been manoeuvring. It was extraordinary to see that war veterans press conference today. They were Mugabe's closest and most loyal supporters. But Mnangagwa is closely associated with a program to give those war veterans who've been trying to eke it out on the land seeds and fertilizer. So he's really gained their love and support. And then something else I never thought I'd see in Zimbabwe. Tomorrow, ZANU-PF, the ruling party, the opposition and the military calling people to come out onto the streets of Harare and demonstrate against President Mugabe. If a lot of people come out, I think it will be hard for him to resist that pressure. So watch this space.
Lindsay Hilsum in Zimbabwe. Well, joining me now from Birmingham is Elliot Fenve, an EU envoy for the opposition Movement for Democratic Change party. From Harare, AC Lumumba, a political activist and coordinator for tomorrow's #Mugabe send-off march. He's a former ZANU-PF politician himself. And in the studio is Nick Mangwana, ZANU-PF's representative in the UK. AC Lumumba, first of all, what's going to happen tomorrow?
What's going to happen tomorrow is Zimbabweans are going to have a chance. In fact, Zimbabweans are going to enter a fresh start. Tomorrow is going to be a day every Zimbabwean will remember for a long time, because they will remember where they were when they heard the noise and when they heard the ululation and sound that Robert Mugabe is no longer president of their country. Tomorrow is the first day where every child born from tomorrow going forward never has to say Robert Mugabe was their president. That's what's going to happen tomorrow. We might never see him in the country again.
You think he's going to leave tomorrow?
What I know is this. He is not going to be president by the time the day ends tomorrow. He will be given an option to leave. If it goes peacefully, he might be allowed to stay so he can just sit in his house and finish off his days. But I have a high suspicion that Air Vice Marshal Perrenchi will probably serve the president for one more time and fly him out of the country, and he will spend the rest of his life in Singapore, Malaysia, or in South Africa, where they've already offered him a haven.
Okay, Nick Mangwana, well, your party appears to have turned on him tonight. Why?
It didn't turn.
And do you agree with AC Lumumba?
No, I don't. I agree to some respect, but I do not agree with the notion of hounding President Mugabe out of Zimbabwe. He's a founding father of that country.
Just hounding him out of power?
Yeah, out of power. He stays at home. Why would you want to take a 93-year-old man from a country where he has lived all his life, and this is his home?
And why have you turned on him?
We haven't turned on him.
You have. You've thrown him out.
That's different. We've asked him to take a rest, and so that we usher in a new dispensation.
Well, he's not coming back, is he?
Of course, but he'll be resting. He's an old man. He's 93 years. We are saying it's enough. We're not saying a hiatus. I'm saying a rest.
Is this because of Grace Mugabe?
Partially because, obviously, the First Lady was angling to come in there come December, and we're not having it. The people are not having it. The party cannot have it.
Elliot Fenve in Birmingham, from the Movement for Democratic Change, do you go along with this apparently peaceful transition, or do you think something else is going on?
Yeah, indeed. I think the people of Zimbabwe suffered for a very long time, and this is a chance to turn a new chapter. And we celebrate actually we welcome the intervention by the military, and again, for the reason that it is an unconventional coup, and bloodless for that matter, and it also is in line with people's mood, public mood. People have suffered, and we can't wait to see the back of Robert Mugabe.
Are you happy for ZANU-PF to carve it up, though, and to hand power to Mr. Mnangagwa?
I think there are two phases to that. There's actually power and political dynamics within ZANU-PF. And as far as we, the opposition, is concerned, we have nothing to do with the power dynamics within ZANU-PF. However, there is another dimension, which is the phase 2 of it. And that is what happens if Mugabe tomorrow or in the next few hours steps down or resigns. We, the opposition, can actually reflect that the MDC alliance met today and have done a pronunciation, and we are united that the way forward for Zimbabwe is that we must have a transitional national authority that actually comes up with a framework for a free and fair election.
Okay.
We need to return to constitutionalism.
Let me go back to AC Lumumba. Aren't you just swapping him for a version of the same that's 15 years younger?
I think what's important to note, Nick, is this is not about Mugabe. This is about the people of Zimbabwe. So it's not about swapping Mugabe with anybody. It's about giving the people of Zimbabwe a fresh start, a chance to reimagine the type of country they want to see. You have so many Zimbabweans living in the country you're broadcasting this from who are watching this program, and tonight they go to sleep imagining and dreaming what type of a country they can have. What Mnangagwa is going to do or not do doesn't matter. What matters is Zimbabwean people have one shot, one silver bullet at finally turning the page and giving their lives a fresh start. I think this is good for the Zimbabwean people. What it does
Well, only
Robert
if there's an
Mugabe,
election.
Emerson Mnangagwa doesn't matter.
Only if there's a new election, surely. If he just takes over and carries on, he's got a history too. He's on the sanctions list too.
If he
No,
takes
nothing
over,
will change.
okay, in fact, let me not say if he takes over. When Emerson Mnangagwa takes over and becomes the president of this country, he essentially has one job, only one job. The one job Emerson Mnangagwa has is to sit down and listen to the people of Zimbabwe. You have a white community from Zimbabwe that is broken, hurting and quenching to spill out what they think and feel to their leader. You have a black community, a war veteran community, a young community, a militant community. All the different pockets of communities have never had anybody they can go and pour themselves out to. His greatest task is not the election. His greatest task is being able to take in the ideas of Zimbabwean people and shape and form them into the new Zimbabwean reality.
Last word to Nick Mangwana here. I mean, how do you feel, having supported this man your whole life, now pushing him out? Is it an emotional moment for you or a hopeful one?
I hoped, and every Zimbabwean, I think, especially those in ZANU-PF, would have wished that this day would not come this way, that he would have scripted his own exit in a more decent and dignified way. This is unfortunate because he has resisted, unfortunately.
His own fault?
Yeah, in this particular case, yes. He could have scripted it better. He stayed away too long. But we are here now. It's a sad day that he has to go this way. So that's where the sentiment would go. So any sentimentalism is around the way he's going. But other than that, we'll still hold him as an icon. We'll still respect him as a founding father. I think that's not a problem with us. We still esteem his his contribution to our nation building.
Nick Mangwana, AC Lumumba, and Elliot Fenve, thank you all very much indeed.